Alrighty, hi, we are back. I am Brittany, the Cosmic Lunar Soul, and I have Priscilla from A Life Full of Simplicity back to finish our tarot resources video that we had a little power issue. So
Yeah, my power company decided to rudely interrupt me. No, I'm just joking. They had some kind of equipment failure, so we were without power for several hours, unfortunately. But hopefully, this time we don't have the same issue.
fingers
There's no
crossed.
no storms right now or high winds or anything, so let's hope that nothing bad happens. Knock on
Yeah,
wood.
we're gonna
So
put that into the universe. So last week we were Sil was literally in the middle of a sentence to
yeah,
finish talking about her favorite tarot spread books.
yes.
So let's finish off with our with your spread book. So
Yeah, so I don't remember what exactly I was saying or what was going on, but all I know is that we were talking about spreads. So I guess I'm just going to jump into the next book because I know I already covered a few spread books, but I wanted to cover one that specifically has a spread for literally every day of the year. So if you wanted to do a challenge or do something fun, change up your practice, I definitely recommend this book. It's called 365 tarot spreads. And this one is fun. Some of the spreads are wild in here. Like there's one on like circus. There's if you're into Star Wars, there's Star
oh,
Wars
maybe
spreads. There's
tip
like
spread.
theme spreads and things in here. We have some vacation spreads and things like that. There is an index at the back that tells you every single spread there is, and they're in specific sections. So there is an index. Here's the table of index. I don't know
Oh
if you can.
wow, it is a beast of a book. So I guess that makes
Yeah. So you can, if you're looking for a specific spread, you can look through the index and see if that spread literally meets your needs. I like this just to have a fun time, just
sense.
randomly, just go to the day. What's today? So we're the 18th. Let's see what the spread of today is. Mistletoe kiss spread. So that's the spread of today.
If the 18th is mistletoe kisses, what's Christmas?
Ooh, yeah, let's see. I don't know. Okay, the 25th. Opening a gift spread.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
actually
that.
really cool. It's really awesome. And there's also like different tidbits in here. There's also little like on the 26th we have a Kwanzaa spread and it gives you
Oh,
like a little blurb about Kwanzaa and it tells you what card could be like what card in the tarot could be linked to this. Here it says the Hierophant. So yeah, it's really interesting. I really actually really love this book. I feel like
mhm,
it's really well done and definitely one I would recommend if you're not looking for something like basic, if you're looking for something more fun.
mhm.
Though I will say there is a book out on the market called 1001 Spreads. That
Yeah.
one is really strange. Not one I would buy for myself specifically, but that one has like really, really specific. They're so oddly specific. It's really weird. And I've seen a few photos of the spreads in there, and I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on.
I know
So
what you're talking about. I remember this.
yeah, so it's like really weird. Like the spread is like I don't even remember an example, but like just like randomly off the top of my head. It's like if you were to say I met two people on a boat and what would happen if I met two people on a boat. Like that
Yeah.
would be a kind of spread in that book, which is
Yeah.
really like when would I even be on a boat first of all and when would I be being like this is so
Yeah.
weird. So it's not one that I would bring into my collection. It's not one that I typically recommend, but if you wanted to check it out, I would highly suggest checking it out in a bookstore though so you can actually look through it to
For
see if
sure.
it's something you'd be interested in rather than buying it from like Amazon or something and then you getting it and you're like this is
You're like,
weird.
what is this?
Also, hey, Steph.
Hi, Steph. Welcome. So, for that spread book, do you think that would be good for beginners, or are they more so like larger spreads?
They're a bit larger spreads, so I wouldn't really say beginner friendly, probably. Maybe if you've already been reading tarot for a little bit, maybe at least
Mhm.
6 months or a year, and you're already comfortable with doing some basic spreads, I would say dive in, see what happens, take it. The point is really to, as you're learning, eventually
Right.
you'll be doing larger spreads anyway, but
Mhm.
not something to do right off the bat if you don't know at least the meanings of the cards. I feel like you'll probably have a hard time because they
Yeah.
are specifically themed. Like some of them are specifically themed. Some of them are like regular spreads, like relationship. There's a few relationship spreads in there,
Mhm.
holiday related ones. So yeah, but if you're planning to do like a specifically themed one, maybe you'll have a harder time if you're not very good with the connections yet in the cards.
Yeah.
So
That's good to know.
yeah. Um, one of my other last spread books, and then I have one that's like one specific spread, but this one I absolutely love. This is probably one of my favorites out of everything, mainly because I love working with the moon. So this
Mm.
is Tarot and the Moon. Tarot by the Moon, rather. And this is a Llewellyn publication. It's by Victoria Constantino. And this one goes through the not moon phases, but the specific moons of the month.
Mm.
So that's how it's structured. So let me see here.
So when you say specific moons of the month, do you mean like the cold moon, the snow moon, the wolf moon?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So if I just go to January here. So January, they deem the wolf moon. You'll literally get the chapter here. It'll give you a little blurb about what the wolf moon is and how it also is associated, like what else it's referred to, because obviously different indigenous tribes, they will associate the moon with different names, because that's
Mhm.
really where we get the names for these specific moons
Yeah.
from indigenous culture. So they also give other options of names, and they give you like different things. So we have like different spreads that you can do throughout the month of
Oh.
January to work with the moon. So for January specifically, we have like some further examination. We have like a deep dive here. We have one spread that's called tapping into your potential. Then we have shuffling and drawing cards. So we have like some little mini
Like
exercises too.
basics of tarot kind of thing.
Yeah, and then we have another spread called What Lies Beneath. We have Awakening Dormant Energies, What is Calling to You, Freeing What is Trapped. Then we have like another little exercise called Power of Intention. We have a Relationship Renewal spread.
Oh,
We have
okay.
some spells and rituals also. So if you wanted to do some spells and some rituals, you can definitely do that during the
Mhm.
month of the moon. And then it goes into the next month's moon, so February. So you have 12 months in here, many spreads, many rituals, many different things, little activities and stuff. And I absolutely love that. And it's all while using tarot, which is probably
Yeah.
my two favorite things, is using tarot and working with the moon. So it
Mhm.
was definitely a no-brainer for me to get this when I when
So
I
for
saw it.
that, that's strictly moon, right? It doesn't go into the astrology side of things, really?
No, it's
Okay.
strictly moon, and it's just working with the monthly moon, so no
Okay.
astrology in here. So you don't need to know astrology to work with this particular
Good
book.
for me.
Yeah, perfect. Because I know you don't like astrology. So yes, and there's different spells and rituals. Again, you don't need to have astrology for that. You also don't need to do the spells. So if you don't do spell work, you don't need to do them.
Yeah, okay.
Or you can change them up as well to more your own liking and things like that. So you can always alter things. Same with the spreads. You could always alter them if you need to. Everything is adaptable in my opinion. So
Yeah.
definitely a fun buy. Also pretty affordable. In the US it's only $20. So
Oh, yeah, that's not bad.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this last one
Mhm.
that focuses specifically on a spread is called Intentional Tarot, but it focuses on one specific spread. Their spread.
Okay.
So a spread that they made. And the spread they made is called the Intentional Tarot. And then
Yeah.
they interpret every single card based on all the positions of this particular spread, which is really
Oh.
interesting. I actually really like that concept. So they made a spread. Let me find the actual spread, if I can find which page it's on, because I don't remember. Let's see. So I can find the actual. Okay, so here we have we have 4 positions:
Mm-hmm.
my understanding, my goal, my promise, and my gratitude.
Okay.
And then, so those are the spread positions. You can change them up depending on what you want. So they have the 1 card where it's just my goal. They have
Mm-hmm.
the 2 card where it's subject of the spread and my goal. They have the 3 card where it's my understanding, the subject of the spread, and my goal. And then they have the 4 card, which is my understanding, my goal, my promise, my gratitude. And then
Gotcha.
it goes into the cards. So we have the Fool here. It gives you the interpretation and keywords. It gives you an example of intentions using the intentional layout. So it gives you the understanding interpretation based on person I'm concerned about or situation I'm focused on. So you get it
Mm-hmm.
both as a person or a situation. And then you get it also for goal, you get it as a supplication form or manifestation form.
Mm.
And then for my promise, you get also an interpretation for that. And then you get my gratitude, you get 2 different gratitudes based on the Fool.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I thought that was a cool concept when I saw this in the store, and they have it for every single card. You get
Mm-hmm.
about 2 pages per card, including the minors and court cards, which is really great. So everything is equal.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. And I thought that was really interesting. You also have some pages at the back where you can do examples. So it gives you some pages where you can write notes and things like that, and gives you like the fool's journey and things like that, which is really
Mm-hmm.
interesting. So
So it's a
it's
bit of
not,
a
you're
like,
not only learning something, but you're
yeah.
also doing a spread.
Yeah. And it has like, it's a little bit of a workbook, note-taking book as well.
Yeah, yeah. So this is fun. I think this would be fun for beginners, honestly, if you wanted to try something new and you're still
Yeah.
learning the cards and wanted to interpret them in a different way, in a different situation.
Yeah.
This would be fun, in my opinion.
I think that's a really good book in the sense like it requires a little critical thinking to apply to other things, but it really
100%.
teaches you how to apply the cards differently based off of where they are positioned in a spread, which just
Yeah.
being in the tarot chat, I know that a lot of people have issues with that a lot of times.
Yeah, and this is a specific spread. Obviously, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's books out there that tells you how to interpret things based on like specific topics of readings. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if you know any books that specifically tell you how to interpret something if it's in a specific position. I'm trying to think.
I think the closest might be the tarot interaction book.
Oh yeah, probably.
More so, not necessary. They do kind of talk about some of the classic spreads. I guess we can transition into talking about the others, the other tarot book resources
Yeah.
that we have. And I'll go ahead and get us started with the Tarot Interactions book. This
Yeah.
is by Deborah Lipp, and I think that this might. Let me scroll through some of my tabs. They kind of explain certain reoccurring themes that a lot of spreads have, like the significator card or the
Yeah.
cross card. Explains like the correlation or relationship between 2 or 3 card spreads, and it just helps you start to look at the positions more intuitively.
Yeah. That's good. I have that book on my wish list. I haven't bought it yet and brought it into my collection, but
I
it
think
does
I
look.
bought it because you told me about it.
Yeah, because I've seen the inside of it, so I know that it's really decent.
Yeah.
But I haven't myself bought it into my collection. It is a little bit more expensive in Canada. I think it's like $30.
It is. I know in the US it is $17.99. But this is also a Llewellyn book. So,
Yeah.
if Llewellyn ever has sales or something like that, just sign up for their newsletter, keep track of that.
Yeah. If you're in the US, the sales for Llewellyn are fantastic. If you're in Canada, they're not that great.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the
Yeah,
things I
'cause I
like
believe
about
you have to
this,
pay shipping. You have to pay shipping to
you do,
Canada.
I think under a certain amount usually.
Yeah.
I'm not
I think
sure.
in Canada it doesn't matter. I think you always have to pay
Oh,
shipping. Yeah. I
oh
think
no.
the limit for shipping is only US. I think it's USD only.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm such an American. I don't even consider that. So one of the things that I really like about this is in the introduction. I say introduction. It's really a large introduction. It's more or less all of this, right? So it's this
That's a
entire.
great introduction. Oh my God, I love
Yes,
it.
it really walks you through just overall, becoming a psychic skills, which is very reminiscent of psychic witch. So I kind of liked the
Yeah.
correlation between that. Um, but then talks you through just the cards, the majors, the minors, understanding reversals. So that way it kind of gives you an idea of what kind of reader you might want to be. But on
Mhm.
top of that, there are a lot of exercises as well. So, like for example, let me go through to some of the interaction exercises. There's one for like the Celtic cross. So that way it's like
Yeah.
a common spread that almost everyone is at least vaguely familiar with because it's in
Yeah.
every single guidebook and it's probably the cliche spread you've seen before getting into tarot reading. So it goes into like explaining the positions of the cards um in reference to the Celtic cross. I'm trying to find it, but I should have marked the pages down.
And that one has a lot of cards. So like having a breakdown of that particular spread is fantastic. Even having an example reading is fantastic of that one. So really people can understand how much work actually goes into that spread.
Mm-hmm.
And what exactly how you would need to interpret each card, because I find a lot of the time when I've seen people use that spread and then try and interpret it, they don't interpret it in a way that links back to their original question or their original situation. And I'm like wondering, like, okay, so if you're talking about an outcome or you're talking about external influences, your external influences relate to the situation you originally asked about. And sometimes people have a hard time linking that to their original question or original
Mm-hmm.
situation that they're trying to do the spread for.
Yeah.
Also, hi, Ari.
Hi, Ari. Happy Sunday. Yeah,
So I find it good.
I totally agree with you. I think that the one of the cool things about this book is it always keeps the question in mind when you're going through these exercises.
Mhm.
Um, of course, one of the big things that I really like is there's a section on numerology. There's a section
Love
on court
numerology.
cards, which I know a lot of people struggle a lot with court cards.
Me too. I struggle too sometimes with core cards, depending on the deck. It really depends on the deck.
I think it depends on the deck and sometimes the questions that I'm asking.
Oh yeah,
But
too, that too. Because are you interpreting it as a person? Are you interpreting it as an energy to the situation? Are you interpreting it as a personality? Like, there's a lot that could go in with the core cards, I find.
right, and it's never really the same. It's dependent on your intuition, what you
Mhm.
asked about, and
Yeah, 100%.
sometimes the deck, like you said.
Yeah,
But I do like too that this touches on, when you're doing readings, a lot of times a good portion of it is understanding the meaning of the cards. You can get that kind of anywhere. We talked about that in our last video. You
yeah,
could go to Biddy or Labyrinthos and look at the meanings of the cards. But each deck is going to be visually a little different. So
yeah,
how are you interpreting whether people appear or don't appear, which way they're facing,
yeah,
how many people there are, or things like that. And this book touches on a lot of that. So it kind of helps me. I feel like it helps in transitioning between different decks and allowing the deck to play a role in that intuition and not being so heavily reliant on just the meanings of the cards, especially being so left brain. I'm very prone to doing that.
yeah.
um
Me too.
yeah, so I like that this breaks that down. I like I haven't gone through the entire thing, but it gives a lot of examples of just how things can play off of each other, including how the majors can play off of like if you have major arcana with a lot of minor arcana, how they play off of each other. Because I know when I was getting started, majors were like really difficult for me to intuitively grasp. So that was, I really like that. I'm looking forward to finishing this up, but I've gone through just, overall. It helps you see the big picture of a reading.
Yeah, definitely needs to be my next purchase, I think.
It should be. It should be.
Bring into my collection.
Let's see. I guess you also have this book, right? Tarot by Numbers?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so in the last book I mentioned, it talks about numerology. I really like the concept of tarot numerology, even though I'm very bad at remembering it. So I like how this book breaks down. I flagged the ones that I tend to struggle with. I like how this book breaks down the numerology in general, and then it breaks it down by the suit, and then it poses like a question to go along with it. So, and I think, let me see. I think that this even gives you like a spread to go along with it.
Yeah, it gives spreads specifically for timing as well if you wanted to do timing. So this is a good one also. I know a lot of people are like, but I want to do timing. How do I calculate timing? How do I do timing with how do I predict timing and things like that? It goes into that as well, like timing techniques and intuition, which is pretty cool. I actually really love that it covers a bit of Roman numerals. Though it doesn't go into all Roman numerals, but it does cover a bit of the Roman numerals in the beginning. I'm actually planning on doing a video specifically on Roman numeral because I know a lot of people have a hard time reading Roman numerals. So that's fun. And then I definitely agree with how it's structured. Like you said, you like how it's structured. Me too. I like how it's structured.
And I like too that it does include the numerology of the majors. That's one of the things that I personally tend to forget about. So
I know a lot of people forget about that. Everyone thinks numerology is just minors, but no.
I mean, I think I've shown you spreads that I've done, and you pointed it out to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
So I like that is how the book starts. It goes through the majors and the numerology based off of that.
Yeah, me too, actually. And they even do like the majors, but like career specific, love specific. Then they do like as you said, they go straight into the majors and how it's like number 1 and then number 2, number 3, and it gives you all the cards that are associated with the 3 up until I believe 9. So yeah, that's great. They also covered the Fool's Journey very shortly, so it gives you quickly the 3 stages of the Fool's Journey, which is awesome. Which is great, I find. And then it goes into the minors, which is another thing I really love. I also love the fact that this is really short. Really easy read, lots of photos. So you just like get into it and it's like the easiest thing you could ever read and you're like, look at that. It's like so easy. Yeah. So easy to grasp, in my opinion.
I think it's so going back to the timing thing, one of the things that I really like about that section is that section is not devoted just on the cards and the timing of the cards. They also give you spreads to consider. So if you wanted to do like a month ahead or like the lunar month or something like that, it gives you spreads that forces the timing based off of the position of the card. So I really like that because then it builds like this layer, this duality between you have the position in the spread, but then you can go to the section and look at, well, what is the timing of that specific card as well?
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. It's really thoughtful. I tend not to do timing a lot because it's so subjective. But I think that regardless, I think throwing the spreads in there too it was a really good idea in my opinion.
Yeah, But also, if like you wanted to do predictive, like future casting, which was something that Three Fat Readers talked about in one of their episodes where they talked about future casting and
Mhm.
predictions and things like that. This would be that would video, by the way, would be great if you wanted to talk to look into that kind of stuff. But this book, it has great information. Like it even gives you the specific months for all the majors. It gives you the days, weeks, months that the suits are represent, or the seasons that they represent, which is awesome. So yeah, and it does give you like some techniques and things, which is really cool.
Mhm. I am just going through. I think that it also, so we talked about in this book, we talked about the timing for the majors, timing for the minors, but that does also include the court cards as well, which I almost never consider. I never consider the courts. Yeah, Tarot by Numbers is by Liz Dean Ari,
Yeah.
and according to the back of the book, it retails for $22.99 in the US, $16.99 in the UK, and $29.99 in Canada.
Yeah, and it's published by Fairwinds. Fairwinds.
I believe you.
It says it in the back. Fairwinds.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, but it's a tiny little book. I mean, it's not very big at all, and
No.
it travels well too. So it's a good plain book, like just to pass the time when you're traveling. You
Yeah,
know.
I would say this is probably the best $30 I've ever spent.
Oh my God! Did it cost you $30?
Yeah, it's $29.99 in Canada.
Oh no! I just assumed that.
And I bought this from the bookstore, so it's always going to be full price in the bookstore.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's $17.99 or $17.89 on Amazon US as the time of this recording.
Yeah. So we did touch upon court cards before. So I actually wanted to bring this specific book up while we were still on the topic. It's a tarot court cards for beginners. This is also a Llewellyn publication. It is by Lisa Robertson. And it goes and it just talks about the court cards. That's it. That's all it talks about. Nothing else. So it covers all the court cards for all the suits, and it goes into every single court card as a person, what it would mean as a person. Hold on, let me just find it here. As a person, as an archetypal influence, as a spiritual influence.
Okay.
And as a messenger, and that's it.
Okay.
So it covers pretty much all the things. It gives you page as well as like princess, because in Thoth it's princess.
Oh, okay.
So it gives you page and princess for each. And I don't know, I really like this because it gives you different options of how you can interpret the court cards. It gives you all these meanings that you can look into. Let me see if there's anything else. It also gives you whether it's like their element, their zodiac, and it gives you keywords as well. It also gives you like a little quote or affirmation for each. And you also have some spreads as well.
What is the element that they associate with them? Just out of morbid curiosity.
So here it gives you cardinal air. For Queen of Swords, it says cardinal air.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Cardinal air? What does that mean exactly?
So cardinal would be also what is going on with these the spam that's
Oh gosh. Let me
Okay, while you do take care of that, I'm gonna look up cardinal air.
Not mean to do that. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so cardinal air means that it could be. Okay, let me go back to the queen that I was at.
And Ari
So
says this book recommendation is perfect timing for her.
okay, so cardinal air. So swords are air suit, and
Mhm.
then queen takes place in a different. So cardinal can mean either Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn. But if we're thinking of air, then it would be Libra. So Libra cardinal would be Libra.
Oh, I
So
see.
cardinal means the signs.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
referring to the sign of air. Okay.
Yeah. But queens are typically associated with
Water.
water. Yeah, I believe so.
That's how I associate them.
Yeah. So this would be water of air or air of water. Water of air. Water of air.
Stephanie said the mini astro lesson going on. I'm gonna need a lifelong lesson in astrology because I will never get it.
Yeah, I don't know all of them, but I do have my tarot and astrology book to talk about later. But yes,
Okay.
which covers all of that information. Yeah, so it has different information in here. I really just look at this in the sense of being able to interpret
Mm-hmm.
different ways the court cards, since again, depending on the deck, they can be a little tough for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Depending on how the image is for the specific deck that I'm using, because
Yeah.
sometimes I can just use the imagery and be like, okay, I know what this is, but then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm looking at the imagery and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how am I interpreting this? So I find like this is a great one, and this is great for beginners in my opinion. She
Mm-hmm.
also has another book on reversals only, that I really
Oh,
want to also buy and bring into my collection, because that one really tells you the different ways you can interpret reversals, which is great.
Ari is a huge astrology person, which is funny because I can't get it. It's not my thing. I'm not good at it.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get into the tarot astrology book. Don't worry.
And I'll just keep
Don't you
quiet the
worry.
whole time. I do want to point out I like books that introduce the concept of applying elements to the court card. So just like you were talking about,
Mhm.
like swords is air, but we associate queens with water. Same with
So
like
it,
pages
yeah.
or earth. But it's also not agreed upon. I remember there was a discussion in a tarot group I'm in on Facebook, and people, for the most part, agree pages are earth and queens are water. But people disagree very, very much so on whether knights are air or fire, or if kings are air or fire.
So it depends if you're doing RWS or Thoth. So
That's
Thoth
true.
has its own system where they associate knight, which is king in their system, as fire, and they associate prince, which is knights in Thoth, as air.
Oh.
That's why they switched it. So if you're doing RWS, then it's knights are fire, king or air.
Mhm.
But if you're doing Thoth, it's different because they have different titles for the core cards.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which makes me a little even more annoyed about this book because they have it backwards or swapped. They have
Okay,
the
that's weird
knight.
because they're basing it on RWS. They should be using RWS system.
I agree. I agree.
Like what?
I
This is not Thoth.
I
And they
even
have a
have
book on Thoth. That
my
author
note
has a
in
book
there
on
even
Thoth.
says swap.
Yeah. Yeah, which is really funny because that author has a book specifically on Thoth. So I don't know why they're switching their systems
Maybe
around.
they had a brain fart. Who knows? All right. Well, I don't have any more like specific books about like targeted areas of
Mm.
tarot. Do you have any more?
Oh yes, I have so many.
Well, throw them at us.
Oh yes, I will. So I wanted to talk briefly about this book, which
Oh
is Everyday
yeah.
Tarot. Now, this is by Biddy Tarot. We did talk about Biddy Tarot it's by Bridget Elselmont, who's the founder of Biddy Tarot, which we talked about her website in the first episode. And this is not for meanings or anything like that. It's literally just an exercise book. So you have different exercises in here on different things. So there's different sections like manifesting your goals, tarot for self-discovery, relationships, like love and all that stuff, tarot for work and things like that. And then it goes into different spreads that you can do. Sometimes it'll give you an example of a spread and how to interpret it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
And yeah, different activities, which is great. I really love these kind of books. Now, you can't write in this book. It's really meant to be just like a reference, and then you have like a journal or something, and then you would write, do your spread on the side. This is really just like a reference guide, and then being able to see the activities. And I like that because it allows you to expand your horizons when it comes to interpreting the cards and doing different spreads and things like that. That is outside, I guess, people's comfort zone. But also doing this for yourself as well. Like, I love the section on manifesting your goals. Like, I think that's so fun. Like, I love goals. So I think this is like perfect for me. So that's fun. It gives you like different ways on how to create goals, and then it gives you a spread that you can do afterwards. Also, the self-discovery portion, I love that, like self-healing with tarot and things like that. It's like so fun. So definitely fun if you're looking for a book that for tarot that is specifically for exercises and just to expand your horizons. I think this is a great one. Now, just briefly on the subject of spiritual and like tarot for healing and things like that, I do have 2 books that I wanted to talk about specifically for more spiritual practice. If you wanted to do tarot for a more spiritual way, I have Pathworking the Tarot. This is also by Lisa Robertson, also published by Llewellyn. It's called Pathworking the Tarot: Spiritual Guidance and Practical Advice from the Cards. So this here gives you all the cards. So in the major arcana, it gives you an intentional pathwork, an intuitive pathwork interpretation, and then a wandering pathwork interpretation for the majors. And then in the minors, or in the court cards, because that's what's next. In the court cards, it gives you all 3. Gives you all the information for all 4 cards, and then it gives you intentional, intuitive, and wandering again. The only thing I didn't like is one of the kings is missing in the interpretation. So we have the King of Wands, King of Cups, King of Swords. So the King of Pentacles is missing from this book.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Wow.
I don't know what happened there, but yeah, it's missing. I don't know what happened. But it also gives you intentional, intuitive, and wandering information for the kings. And then we go into the minor arcana, and it gives you the same things, but specifically for by numerology. So the aces, the 2s, the 3s. It does touch upon every card. So we have like a paragraph for the 2 of Swords, a paragraph for the 2 of Wands, another one for the 2 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, things like that. So it goes into like different information. It's really interesting. Bummer about the King of Pentacles. I don't know what happened. I did, as a joke, make a photo with the King of Pentacles on a milk carton, like a milk carton, you know, when you're missing a kid, like they used to do that back in the day.
Milk carton, yes.
Yeah, and then I posted on Instagram and the stories, and I tagged Llewellyn and the author, and I was like, what happened? But no one answered me.
I was very eager to hear if they answered. That would have been...
No, they didn't, but it would have been funny if they did, because honestly, like, I was wondering, I'm like, what happened? Why is the King of... I still don't know why the King of Pentacles is missing. And then a newer book to my collection that is also about like spiritual, more of a spiritual practice, is Tarot for Change. I've heard a lot of great things about this book, so I wanted to bring it into my collection. It gives you every single card in here, and then it gives you like a few pages on that card and how to interpret that in terms of change, I guess, transformation, more of a psychology based kind of interpretation. I really like this. I haven't started reading it yet, but what I have just browsed through, I really liked. So I'm excited to dive into this and see where it goes.
Yeah, that
I'll
sounds nice.
I'll do a review once I read
Yeah,
it.
it's a nice thick book, so it seems like it
Yeah.
should have a lot of nice information in it.
Yeah. It says using the cards for self-care, acceptance, and growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
All
on the
good
topic
topics.
of self-care, I have this one. This one's one of my favorites. I use this every Sunday. So if you
Yep.
subscribe to me, you'd know that I use this every Sunday. It's the Tarot for Self-Care by Minerva Siegel. This is published by Simon and Schuster, I think. It says Adams Media. I guess that's a derivative of Simon and Schuster, but I love it. The way it's structured is it gives you an upright and reverse interpretation plus 3 self-care activities in
Ooh.
terms of mind, body, and spirit for every single card. So there's 2 pages for every single card. And I just love it. I feel like it's well written, and I really love the activities that are in here. I find them really fun.
And you've had that for a while, so you don't feel like it gets repetitive or anything like that?
No, I feel like you could always change things up also. Like, let's say it gives you like different options to do something, maybe change it up in this time. Like, what do we have here? We have the King of Cups. So for mind, it tells you to evaluate your priorities in your life by making pie charts. So maybe don't do a pie chart this time. Do something else. Like, do a different type of chart, you know?
In all fairness, pie charts are the worst charts, so.
Yeah, there you go. And then we have like body, which is focused on exercise routine, on building stamina. It gives you some like options like stair climbing, cycling, or weightlifting. Maybe try a different type of way of exercising if that's what you wanted. Here it says listen to classical music for relaxing, inspiring break and routine. If you have another type of genre of music that is more relaxing, then use that instead. Like, it's always good too. You could always change things up and things like that. So
pretty versatile.
Yeah. Okay, I have 4 last books. 4 last books. So we were talking about elements earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, so I got this book. It's called Tarot Elements, 5 Readings to Reset Your Life. It's by Melissa Sonova, and published also by Llewellyn. I really want her other book, which is A Kitchen Table Tarot. Apparently that one's really good, but I don't have it yet. So this goes through the elements.
Sorry. Looking things up as you're talking.
Yeah, so this goes through the elements, and then it gives you a way to read elementally. Like how you can read elementally.
Meaning what? Like applying the elements to your reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I really like. So it gives you different spreads that you can do. Here it gives you, like, for example, a water reading, and then it gives you an example. So it gives you an example, someone like a pretend current, and then it gives you like the cards that was pulled, and then how it's interpreted for every single question. So I really like this. I think it's fun. There's a reading for every single element. So water, fire, air, and earth. And then it gives you different exercises that you can do and things like that. I think in the beginning it also touches upon what is what for the elements.
Meaning like which cards represent which elements? Okay.
Yeah,
I would hope so. I mean, I feel like that's a smart way to start.
I just want to double check.
Fair
I
enough.
think there is, but what's this at the back? I feel like I've seen it, but I don't know. There's also interpretations in the back also. They give you the appendix of meanings as well. It gives you which suit is what, but I
Mhm.
don't
Does it go into like the major arcana?
think so. I'm trying to see, but I don't think it has anything.
Yeah, I'm bad at the elements and whatnot when it comes to the majors. I don't think
Yeah.
it makes it.
I did a post on Amino about the elements, and I included the majors.
Oh,
The
did
majors,
you?
the quartz, and the minors. I'm just trying to
I have to
see.
check that out. But I would like to have like a reference book about it, so that way I could just kind of flip to it if I wanted
Yeah,
to.
no, this doesn't have it. So
Yeah.
this probably wouldn't be a great reference book for that then.
Oh no.
So yeah, no, this doesn't have it. But I do like the spreads that are in here though. They're good. And I like the fact that there's an example.
Yeah.
I hate when someone gives you a spread and you're like trying to learn how to do it and it's like, but like
Yeah.
how would you interpret? At least they give an
Yeah.
example of how it could be interpreted based on
Mhm.
whatever situation, pretend situation they have, which is good. Then I want to do, if you're interested in ancestral work, I got this book called Ancestral Tarot: Uncover Your Past and Chart Your Future. It is by Nancy Hendrickson, and it is published by Wiser Books. This is the cover.
Oh yeah, I remember the book cover. It took me a while, but yes, I remember that book. I don't have
Yeah,
it, but it is on my list.
I like it so far. I have gone as far as I did the first spread, and it's really interesting. Where's the table of contents here? So there are 11 chapters, and it goes through the introduction, journey spread, so how to start, like a first spread to start, and then how to use the book. And then it goes through the different chapters. So the first one is Beyond the Veil. So it covers ancestors in all flavors, or comes in all flavors. Ancestors of blood, ancestors of place, ancestors of time, and closer than you think, choose an ancestor. That's the
Hmm.
first chapter. And then chapter 2 is working with a spirit guide. So it tells you how to find your spirit guide, calling on your spirit guide, how to work with
Mhm.
your guide, things like that. Then we have tools in chapter 3. So tarot decks, sigils, lunar energy,
Ooh, lunar
pendulums,
energy.
runes, oracles, and things like that. Yeah, I found that really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Then we had chapter 4, which is Meet the Family. So you have like who they are, family chart, first impressions, family patterns, getting to know you, ancestral marriage and message, and things like that. Then it goes into chapter 5, which is ancestors of blood. So I assume
Mhm.
that's specific ancestors that are blood related to you.
Yeah.
Then we have ancestors of place, which is more, I believe, like heritage, ancestral heritage, and then ancestors within the place that you live, possibly.
Mhm.
I would have to look at the definitions that she specifically gave. And then ancestors of time. So this covers past lives, reincarnation, things like that. So this is like your ancestors from times before, lives
Mhm.
lived, and things like that, like reincarnation, things like that.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah.
I was curious. I'm scrolling through as you're reading. I'm looking at the chapters as well, and I was like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah, so I would think reincarnation, like reincarnation, past lives, things like that, like it would cover that in terms of ancestors of time.
Yeah.
So this would be interesting. Like I find like people who don't know their ancestors in terms of blood, I think ancestors of place and ancestors of time would be an interesting concept to worship ancestors if you don't know who your one blood relatives are, especially if you're
Yeah.
adopted. I know she talks about adoption in here. So if you're adopted, you may not know who your family tree is and things like that. So these would be good alternatives if you still wanted to worship ancestors, but you don't know who your blood ancestors are. Then it
Mm.
goes into a journal. So keeping a journal, we have some pairings. It says birth pairings, birth pair combos, death pairs, cemetery symbolism, event pairs. I'm interested in that. I don't know what that means, but I'm interested in
Curious.
it. And then chapter 10 is about whole self mandala. So choose an ancestor, build a mandala, lessons learned. Then we have some ancestral rituals in chapter 11. We have some final thoughts, tarot 101, tarot practice resources, genealogy resources also. I actually have a book. You probably won't be able to see it, but I have a book on this shelf up top on genealogy that I had to that I have from a course that I had to take. So I'm good on the genealogy stuff. Oh my god, what's going on here?
I don't know. The Sunday crazies are out.
Also, why does it say something went wrong? Reload the page. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm scared.
Oh no. Well, I see you, and so I think that's good.
We're good? Okay.
For
We're
my
good.
end, we are.
Okay. So I know Ari was waiting for this particular book. maybe even
Saving the
Steph.
best for last. Building
Maybe even
suspense.
Steph. Actually, this is not the last book. This is the last book, which is a newer book to my collection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, tarot and astrology. So this covers every single tarot card. And it gives you every single astrological association with it. So you literally have a list of cards and their page number because they are not in order.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not in order. I don't think so anyway. Let me just go to the first one. I don't think so anyway. Are they in order? No, I don't think so.
Boo.
No, it starts with the planets. So it starts
I
with the planets. So that's why they're not in order, because it goes by, I think, that way. So we have the sun, which is associated with the sun card, obviously. So the kind of information that it gives, I don't know if this is all the information that it gives, actually. Let me just double check.
I'm gonna add the ancestral tarot to my list.
Yeah, I really want to get their her newer book, Ancestral Grimoire.
Oh, why would you tell me that?
What do you mean? Why wouldn't I tell you that?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I've heard good things. Honestly, I've heard really good things about it. So yeah, it goes into the planets first. That's why it's not in order. So for the planets, it gives you some information on the sun. So the sun and what it's related to. It gives you some deity information as well. So, the sun is associated with Apollo in Greek mythology as well as Roman mythology. It also gives you astrological placement. So its placement in the astrological chart can highlight areas of fame, public recognition, acclaim, things like that. It tells you that sun rules Leo. And then it says that the sun is associated with the heart and spine. So it gives you different information like that. It says that it also corresponds with the element of fire. And then it goes into the moon. So the moon is associated with the high priestess and so forth. Magician is Mercury and things like that. And then when we go into the signs, so the signs are next, and it gives you the different signs. It gives you the glyph associated with that sign, so you know what the symbol is. And then it tells you the card associated with Aries, for example, which is Emperor. And then it tells you different things about the Emperor and Aries and things like that. I actually really, really, really love this particular book. It's great for learning astrology and tarot, in my opinion. So yes, it also tells you that the sun travels through Aries between March 21st and April 20th. Tells you that the sign marks the first month of spring and the first day in the astrological year. It's a cardinal sign and all that good stuff. So it gives you a lot of information for each card. Then it goes into... What does it go into after? So this is still the signs. So we have a summary also. There's a summary. There's charts, lots of charts. If you like charts, if you rather look at charts, it gives you that. I
like charts.
So there you go.
And then love that.
And then it goes into, let's see here, it goes into the aces. So the aces have their own little chapter. So the aces represent the elements. They don't represent a specific astrological sign. So you would have them only in fire, earth, air, and water. Then it talks about the Kabbalah, if you wanted to know that. It gives a brief structure on that. And then we get into the actual minor arcana and the numbered cards. It gives many charts with all dates and things like that. So you have like a bunch of different charts for dates and things if you want to look up stuff quickly. And then it goes for the minor, if I can get a minor. So we have the Two of Wands here. It's Mars in Aries. So it'll give you what the planet is and what sign it is. And then it'll give you all the information with that. It'll tell you what the Mars and Aries are associated with in the major arcana. And then talk about the Two of Wands as well as those two specific signs within that particular card of the Two of Wands. It also talks about decans or decans. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but it tells you that Aries usually falls between March 21st and 30th. So March 21st and the 30th of March, when the sun is between 0 and 10 degrees of Aries. So it gives you other information on astrology. If you really like astrology, then it would probably be a great great information. Like the Three of Cups is Mercury in Cancer, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, so it gives you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. Now, the court cards. I just want to go into the court cards.
Hi, Tarot with Ruby.
Oh, hey, Ruby. Okay, so court card. Let's see here. So pages are a personification of the elements.
Oh, okay.
And then...
Oh, show what book you're talking about, Sil.
Oh, yes. Sorry. It's the Tarot and Astrology. Enhance your readings with Wisdom of the Zodiac. Let's see here. I haven't read the court cards yet, so I'm just like, I don't know. So it says the Aries and the Queen of... So Aries is Queen of Wands.
Okay.
So I guess it's Aries, the Queen of Wands. Taurus is the King of Pentacles. Gemini is the Knight of Swords. I guess there's a sign associated with every single court card. And then within that specific element, I guess. So, for example, Libra is associated with the Queen of Swords in cardinal air. Like we were talking about before with cardinal air. It's cardinal would be Libra for specifically the Queen of Swords.
Okay.
But it's really interesting. This is like really in depth, honestly. It's like the best book that you could have to learn tarot and astrology, but you can also learn astrology at the same time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because like it's really in depth, and there's so many charts. So if you learn better with charts, there's so many charts that you can just look at to get the information. And I just love it. It's like a really fantastic book. There's even a chapter on the houses of the horoscope. So you can even learn how to read, interpret based on like the houses as well.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So honestly, this is $20 in the US. I don't even know how much I paid for this in Canada. Probably 30 something. Probably 30. Yeah, maybe like 34 or something like that. Best money spent. Best money spent, in my opinion.
Ruby says she has that book too. She still has to go through it, but it seems so overwhelming.
Yeah, so I would say that the best way to go through this would be to probably go in order of the Fool to to the world and then do the minors together, because it's not in order in the book. It's in the order of specifically planets, specifically zodiacs, specifically minor car like aces. You could do it in the order of this if you wanted to, if you just wanted, if you're experienced or understand astrology already, or at least know the planets, know the zodiacs already, you could do it in the order that it's in here. But I would say if you're not familiar with astrology, it would be better to go in the order of actual tarot. That would probably be better, because if you already know the meanings of the tarot, then it would be easier to just, you're just learning something extra.
You're like just adding something on to what
Yeah, so you probably would be less overwhelming. It would be like, okay, now I already know the meaning, so now it's time to learn astrology. So let me start over and put all my cards back in order. So I think that would be the best way, in my opinion. And that's how I plan to do it. Even though I'm pretty proficient already with the planets and the zodiac, but I feel like that's how I would do it as well, just so I don't get confused or anything like that. Yeah. And then my last book.
All right, let's finish off strong. What do you have?
Yes, this is the one that I got for my birthday. My mom got me this for my birthday. Oh, okay. And I actually really wanted to bring this in, mainly because a lot of people may not read for others, which is perfectly okay. Like, I think that's perfectly all right. If you just read for yourself, that's great, and that's totally valid. I read for myself a lot of the time too. So, and sometimes I read for others, but not all the time. I don't have like a business or anything where I charge people to read for them and things like that. But I think this is a great way to just bring up your confidence.
And just for people watching, because your book is backwards, it's Will You Give Me a Reading? What You Need to Read Tarot with Confidence by Jenna Martin.
Yeah. And this is published also by Llewellyn as well. And I think this is great, not only to learn to read for others, but also I think it would help also to learn for yourself. And I find there's a lot of people out there that will start reading and they'll be scared and they're like, oh, I don't know. Like, my intuition is not good. And because they're still beginning and they're still like in their beginnings and they're not confident in themselves and what they're reading and the cards that they're getting. So I think this is a great book to just gain confidence in in learning to read, whether it be just for yourself or for others. And as I always say, in regards to sometimes reading for yourself can be hard. So reading in third person or second person is really helpful. So using things like they, them, you is a great in reading when you're reading for yourself as well, if you want to take yourself out of the situation. So it gives you different techniques on how to layer readings, and it gives you different examples of readings as well, practicing empathy. What's one of the chapters that I said here? Here, what to do when a reading goes wrong. There's that. We have like half the work is in your question, layering tarot techniques. Court cards are people too. This is why court cards are hard. Like, these are the names of the chapters. So good. I love it. Beyond predictions. Judgment is a card, not a reading style.
Oh, I like that.
Really like. Yeah, I really like that too. How they mishear what you say and why. Yes. So but also, when you're reading for yourself, there's times where you mishear what you're saying to yourself as well. So I think this is great for both reading for others and reading for yourself, in my opinion. Like, there's different activities that you can do as well, and it's really good. I'm excited to actually dive into this book. I think it'll be fun. Me, it's just for expanding my own knowledge. That's the only reason I really want to Because I said
I,
it in my birthday haul, like I've never had any negative feedback for the
yeah,
readings that I've given to others, but it's always good to expand your knowledge no matter how long you've been reading, even if you've been reading for like 30 years.
yeah.
Picking up something new it harms no one, in my
That is
opinion.
true. More knowledge will never set you back. So
Exactly, exactly. Plus,
I
learning is power. Learning is power.
it's true. And I'd be curious about the how they mishear you and like mishear what you say and why. Because because I think that's important too, right? Like obviously people come to you because you have a certain style of reading, or maybe they don't know yet
Hmm.
if they're new to tarot readings.
Yeah.
And as a reader, sometimes you have to discern that so that way you can explain things differently. I feel like I wonder if that's some of the stuff they'll talk about in that section. But
Let's see.
really cool book.
Chapter 13.
And it's
It
my favorite.
covers when people shoot the messenger,
Yeah.
when querents cannot hear what you are saying, transference, which is a common psych thing, projection, which is another common psych thing, cognitive distortions, all or nothing thinking, overgeneralizing, filtering.
Mm,
So it's a lot of psychological things that
yeah.
are coming up here, which I really like. Magnification, disqualifying the positive,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
emotional reasoning, fallacy of change, fallacy of fairness. And then it goes into an activity. Identify the distortion, a mini pop quiz of scenarios from real life readings. Oh, that's interesting. It gives you like different scenarios and you have to like identify the distortion within it.
Well, I just added that to my list.
I wonder if it gives the answers though in the back.
Oh, I would love that textbook style where you get the answers at the end.
Yeah.
Takes me back.
I have a lot of textbooks like that actually on my shelf right now.
Yeah, a lot of I mean, they're not like workbooks, but a lot of my witchy books are more so reference books. So you're just going through and getting all of the references for stuff.
Yeah.
But that was so cool. I think that was an awesome book to finish up with.
Yeah. Me too.
Because just like you were saying, you can kind of apply that to yourself because when you're giving the reading, you are also the curant. So
Exactly.
curant. A word's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I usually just say client. I'm like client. Easier.
I'll type it, but I don't say it out loud very often. But yeah, so I'll have to add that to my list. Were there any books that you have coming in that you wanted to talk about real quick?
No, I only have I think I talked about in the last one, but the only book that is coming out like next month, for example, that I was really interested in was the oh god, let me just check. What was his name? He's the author of Fearless Tarot. Here, Tarot in Love by Elliot Adam. I believe this is also a Llewellyn publication. Yeah, Llewellyn publication. I have his other book called Fearless Tarot. That's the one where I said it was like gives like a positive spin on things, but it doesn't do it in a way where it's like overly positive and it doesn't minimize the negative, but it does it in a way that's like really decent, and I love that book, and I talked about it in the last live that we did. But so I was interested when I saw that he was releasing a second book, but specifically on love related readings. I thought that would be really interesting to pick up for my collection of books, because I feel like a lot of people give love readings, but I feel like there's so many ways to interpret like relationships and like love related readings, even if it's like platonic or whatever, like just relationships in general. Sometimes it can be really difficult to interpret. So I wanted to pick it up to read like his take on his interpretations, because I really enjoy his Fearless tarot book. Like I find it really well done.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. It'd probably be on like my long list if I ever were to get it.
Well, if I end up getting it, I can like show you
Yeah.
Show you like how it's structured inside and see if maybe you'll end up putting it higher or maybe not. I don't know, but maybe it'll be something you'd be interested in. But yeah, I'm hoping to maybe pick this up next month. Maybe we'll see. It's on my list though. My wish list to get. What about you? Any books that you have?
Well, actually, some of the ones that you pointed out, I did add the Ancestral Tarot and possibly the Will You Give Me a Reading Tarot. I added them both to my list.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I have on my lists.
I also have a few that you mentioned as well. Like the Interactions book is also on my list as well.
Yes, I really do like that. Let me see.
I have so many books on my list that are tarot related. I would have to see like let's see more. There's probably ones that I even talked about last time. Let's see.
I thought about adding the 78 Degrees of Wisdom book just as like a reference, not necessarily to actually read through, but to pick through the topics that I kind of want to dive a little bit more into or get more of a, just, expand my knowledge on.
Yeah. That one is really good, but it's more of a textbook style. Like I find it really more of a textbook style kind of book. So I think it would be good as a reference book, but the thing is you would need to know where everything is in the book to begin with.
Yeah, and that's kind of usually what I do with a lot of books. So I'll use this as an example, right? I'll go through and start tabbing things.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of flip through stuff. This book's so small, I didn't really need to do that. But I'll flip through and tab things that I either want to go back and reference or I want to go to and reference.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my idea for that book, just to have like a one-stop shop where I can kind of pull up a lot of different things and just, like I said, we were saying earlier, knowledge is power.
I came across a few others on my list. Tarot Therapy is one also that I want to pick up. It says Tarot Therapy, Harness the Healing Power of the Deck, and it's by Leona Nicole Black. That one seems interesting. It's set to release next year. I believe there is a copy already out, or an edition already out of that book, because I've seen people in Europe were able to get it. I'm not sure if it's the same edition or what. But this specific edition is coming out next year. And then, another spread book that I really want.
So many spread books.
I love spread books. I love them. This one is a self-published one. It's through Amazon print on demand, I believe. I'm pretty sure anyway. It's called Way Anchor Tarot Spread Book. It's literally a spread for every single card, 78 spreads, one for every single card in the tarot. And the way it is let's say you have the Fool plays as an anchor in that spread, and then you're supposed to pull other cards around it to learn the card, I guess. It's a fun way to learn the 78 cards, in my opinion. I've been seeing a friend of mine use this book, and I was like, oh, I really need this. Like, it looks so good. And so fun too. Like, who doesn't want to do like some fun spreads with the tarot itself and just have like the Fool, for example, anchored, and then you get to do a spread on the Fool. So there is that one as well. And then I really want to learn the Kabbalah. So there's the tarot and Kabbalah, the Path of Initiation, the Sacred Arcana. So I put that to my list as well. So I thought that was something that would be interesting to learn. Get back to my Jewish roots.
I like that. Yeah, I feel like I need more books. Like we were talking about this earlier. I feel like I need more books because you have so many books and I have
I know, so many books.
Like 3 to show today. but I'm
okay.
apparently just not a book person.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll like dominate me in terms of when we do witchy resources. I have some books, but
Oh yeah,
probably not as many as you do.
my books are overflowing. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
For
there you go.
witchy
So
books.
you'll end up being me in that situation. And I'm the one who's just going to be sitting back and like, ooh, okay, let me add this to my
Just add it to your list. So
Yeah.
speaking of things coming up, so next week, guys, we're gonna do our 5 favorite tarot decks that we received in 2022.
Yeah,
So we'll
not
talk
next
about
week, next month.
or next month. I'm sorry, I got too excited. Next month. So for
In the new
January,
year, yeah.
yeah, after the new year, we're gonna
Yeah.
be doing our top 5 favorite decks that we received in 2022, tarot decks.
Yeah.
And then the month after that, we're going to do the Oracle deck version of that.
Yeah.
So
I'm so
if you guys
excited.
got something really exciting this past year and you want to share it with us, join us and let us know what you got.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do tarot first and then Oracle in February. I'm so excited because I've been keeping track of what I've been getting in 2022. So
Yeah. I just
now I just have
added
to
a
narrow
list.
it down to 5.
That's what's going to make it exciting and hard.
Yeah, it's gonna make it exciting and hard. Definitely. But I'm so excited for that because I love talking about decks that I just love. So
Yeah.
I'm
And we kept it to top 5 just so we wouldn't be here for 3 hours.
yeah. Though we're gonna be talking about 10 decks, like 5 me, 5 you. I'm sure it'll still take
I
long.
doubt we'll have any. Well, no, not for tarot. For tarot, I doubt we'll have any overlap.
No, I don't think we'd have any overlap. Not even for Oracle. I don't think. Maybe one, but
Maybe one.
maybe one. Yeah. But I think that's about it. I don't think. I know we have a few oracles in common, but I don't think they'll make the. I don't think it'll make it into your top 5.
Oh, probably not. I'm the picky one.
Yeah, but I would say that the oracles that we do have in common, I got actually in 2021, so they wouldn't even qualify for.
Oh yeah,
for 2022.
Because we might have the same decks, but we did not receive them in 2022
At the same time. Yeah. So
that's gonna make it even more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
Ruby, so
Me
right.
too.
I love this. So that's why if you guys have any decks that you like, make sure you come and join the conversation because I'm sure Sil has it or is aware of it and can talk to it better than I can.
Oh yeah, probably. Or at least I know it or know of it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh yeah, I know that deck. I've seen it around.
For sure. But guys, thank you so much for joining us today. This was part 2 of our tarot resources. I can't wait to see you guys in the new year. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Happy Yule, I guess.
Yeah, Happy Yule.
All of the above.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And yeah, can't wait to see you guys in January.
Yeah, and don't forget to, if you're coming from my channel, don't forget to subscribe to Cosmic. And if you're coming from Cosmic's channel, don't forget to subscribe to me. If you are interested in tarot-related content, Cosmic does, or Brittany, she does a lot of witchy content as well as divination-related. So definitely check out her channel. If you're interested in witchy things, her content is amazing. So,
and if you guys are interested in more tarot unboxings than I have, reviews, planners, and self-care stuff, go check out Sil's channel. She has all of that lovely stuff. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.